Hey there, happy Monday. So sorry about the delay. Got everything all set up to go and my tripod toppled, my phone went flying, knocked over a bunch of stuff, and I'm like, I kind of need to take care of this before I just move on because I wanted things to get set back up. But then when I put this back on the tripod, I feel like I'm really zoomed in. So I'm trying to stand back so I don't look like I'm taking up your whole screen. Hopefully you guys had a fun 4th of July. It was kind of quiet, but we still did fun things over the weekend. Went swimming with the grandkids and saw some amazing fireworks in Mountain Lake, and they put on a great show and such. And so hopefully you guys made memories and made the best of a fun weekend of celebrating our country's 250th birthday. So with that, I have a beautiful card to make for you guys. See, I'm used to going like that. Can't wait to turn my camera around because I feel like I am just like so big. Okay, so one of my favorite cards that I've put together in a while, and just want to eat it up, just the softness and the different textures and everything too. So I'm excited to put this together for you guys and hoping you enjoy it as well. So let me get my camera turned around here for you. And like I said, when I knocked my camera, I don't know why the settings, I was ready to go live, so I don't know if something bumped my screen too at that time. So I'm just gonna see if I don't want it to get too big either. Hello, Margaret. Thanks so much for joining in. All right, so here we have the card closer to the camera, facing the right direction and such. And with the beginning of July, there were also new releases, new kits, some new online exclusives and such. So this card is just piecing together a whole bunch of different things. Hi there, Diane. Thanks for joining in. So it's one of my kitchen soup cards, but from the online exclusives, the only thing that I'm kind of bringing in from that is this new paper, and I just love it. I love Gingham just because it has such a soft look. Even if it's bold colors and it's Gingham, then we call it plaid. I don't know. But anyway, I just love the softness. So what Stampin' Up! Did was took all 5 of those new in colors and made a paper pack with this. And it's called the 2026 through 2028 in color Gingham Gallery DSP. So we've got the Peaceful Pine, the Hydrangea Hue, so the large and small. We've got the Golden Glow. And, sometimes I see things like this, and what my mind comes to is, this is kind of similar to something from that Cute as a Bug paper. So I like to let people know that, because sometimes where my brain goes is when I plan for my in-person classes and I maybe don't have exactly enough, or I want to have an extra option just in case I have last minute signups that I'm not prepared for. Sometimes it's a paper pack like this that helps me out in a pinch, because I can substitute patterns that maybe are the same color, just not the exact pattern of what's on the card, but it often works out great. Or sometimes I end up liking my replacement even better. And then I've got Crisp Cantaloupe here. And then of course, so those are 4 colors. And then the 5th color here is this. Let me get you just like a plain shot of it, so you can see it without all the stuff on top. So we've got that and that in the pale, barely blush color too. So you can see that. Let me just put this away here, and then I can talk about some of the other things, because there are a lot of things on the card. The Fern and Flora 3D embossing folder here, that is in the background here. Loving that because of the fern and the flora on it. But this is still out of stock, and I want to let people know that it should be coming back in about a month, I think. I forgot to check on exactly that. I thought it had an August date on that coming back. And then the sentiments that I'm using for the inside outside of the card, this comes from Sending Salutations. The inside, actually, I think I switched gears, and that is from Frames and Flourishes. And then this I want to talk about because it's such a great deal. The Petals of Beauty is where the gold is coming from, that gold flourish, and also this. I'll show you the paper in more detail too. the vellum. It's kind of a shimmery vellum. And then also these flowers. So all of these 4 die cuts are from the Petals of Beauty dies. So what makes this special is that it's already on the last chance list. Do not buy this as a bundle. If you buy the dies and the stamps separately, you'll get a better price than if you buy them as a bundle because they're both on the last chance list. These dies, I know you'll be saying, oh gosh, I've seen you use those a lot. And they're only like $17 or something. I think they're like half price. So a really good deal on dies that I use often. And I think I'm just going to sneak this over so that I remind myself to show you the sizes. There's a couple different smaller and largers of the flowers that I'm using. I'm using the smaller die cut here. Actually, maybe I'll just show you because I didn't know if I wanted to put like a small one up here and a large one down here. And then I just thought everything is so soft and kind of dainty on the card that I didn't want to put this ginormous flower on there. It just made it look big. So I guess then I can just tell you that and then set it aside. Then I can be done with it so I don't forget to tell you which size I use in case you do get. Some people love to just shop. My link that I put after my videos on the picture of the card and such. So I like to let people know that these are the smaller of the dies, not the larger that I used for today's card. Let's see. Hello there, Renee. Good to see you on here. And let me get started. I think that's kind of all the basics. Oh, and I've been forgetting to do this. So if you like that, totally I forgot all last week when I put out videos, I forgot to do this so you can do a screenshot. I had them, I just did not show you. So hopefully that helps as well as what I just said too. Sometimes people like both. They like to hear about it, or like the embossing folder, they like to know, oh, I can't get that right now or whatever too. So that helps you as well as the still shot with the supplies. All right, so what I'm starting with here, basically my card is monochromatic for the most part. I've got some thick white for my card base, and I know I've mentioned this over and over. Anytime I make a card with a white card base, I always go for my thick white because it's just such a better quality, sturdier card base, especially for adding layers. And even if you're not adding layers, I think the person that receives it is just going to be a much better quality of card for them too. So that's my card base opening this way for you. And then the next layer I already embossed with that Fern and Flora embossing folder, and usually I'm doing a 4 by 5 1/4 measurement for like the step down for layering and such. But this one I just wanted, I think the white on here was really subtle in all the other areas, so I thought let's have even the base of the card be a little bit more subtle, and I thought I could achieve that by making this a little bit larger by just 1/8 of an inch. So instead of the 1/4 inch all around, I'm doing 1/8 of an inch layering for the next mat. So this is in that Barely Blush color, and just loving already the softness that this laying on there puts together like so. And then I'm going to skip to kind of the next layer, which then is the Gingham Gallery. Let me just double check my measurements here on my glass mat. All right, so this measurement is 3 by 4 inches, and if you know me by now, I love 3 by 4 because that means even cuts out of a 12 by 12 with no leftovers, and so I love that. And then I did go a little bit wider on this one than this, but with that blush color, Barely Blush, it's pretty soft, so I don't feel like it takes away too much from the Fern and Flora background either. So these two pieces can just be put together. So 4 1/4 by 3 1/4. And I'm going to choose the smaller pattern to be showing because there are options. And sometimes it's fun to see when people come to my classes what people actually choose when they put things together. And now this is ready to go on my card. So I'm just going to take some dimensionals and put that in all 4 corners. That's exactly what came off my sheet of dimensionals, was 4 at a time. I did not plan that. All right. Mondays are my favorite days, and maybe that's a sign that things are going well. It's been a great day so far. All right, what I love to do too for classes, and I sometimes forget to show you here, is I like just having my die cuts ready for people. And a lot of times I'll just find trays like this. I think was a makeup tray, like some kind of stick of something maybe came in here, or several, and then just to have a nice way for people to be able to find the supplies to put their cards together, and then to have it safely tucked away when I transport it to. Sometimes I'm driving a ways, and not that I drive crazy, but you know, just taking a corner can make things happen too. Now for this, when I was designing my card, I wanted this to be up at the top, and I also wanted it to be at the bottom. So I kept going back and forth, like, which is more important, the top or the bottom? And then I realized I knew I'd be putting the sentiment on there. So I thought if I just take my scissor and clip it like in the middle somewhere, I can have the best of both worlds. So then what I do is just take my glue dot here and find a space where there's a little bit more area than not, and then even here I can just do it towards the bottom where there's a nice big area to put it on, and then I know it's not going to show because that's going to be carried or covered up to there. So we've got kind of that much of a space that nobody's going to see because of that circle in there. And then next what I'm going to do is take this and show you where that came from. Hold on one sec. Here we go. From that Sunset Coast suite that is in this catalog, we have the Sunset Shimmer Vellum 12x12 specialty paper. So we've got this pretty pink. We've got kind of that pearlized color here, and then the light blue, probably balmy blue, and love this. It's just, it's not very thick, but it's also not super thin either. It's easy to work with, but it's just got a nice shimmer to it compared to regular vellum, and it comes 12x12. So that is from that Sunset Coast suite of products. And just look at how fun. Hopefully the camera picks up that shimmer, because like once people see it in action, then like nobody asks about it or talks about it until they see it in action, and then everybody's like, "Ooh, where is that from, or what is it?" Because I don't think this soft shimmery looking flower would actually be like on somebody's radar to go with that suite either. So I'm going to put a couple glue dots on that too and just set it aside for now. And then I'm also going to adhere my layers for my flower too. I'm trying to think how it goes. It's kind of like abstract as far as it doesn't match up 100% equally well, and that's okay, but I just kind of wanted to be halfway decent looking. And then there's just like the perfect spot to hide a glue dot in the center there, and then I can go ahead and just kind of put that on there as well. And now this I know I'm going to put in the bottom corner, so I'm just going to attach a couple dimensionals there and kind of anchor that down for a scene. Now I'm going to do some stamping. Oops. This is pretty delicate. I'm going to put it upside down. I don't want it to attach itself to my glass mat and end up tearing it. All right, so I'm choosing the Crisp Cantaloupe because I did want something with a little bit more color than the Barely Blush, since I knew I'd be putting it on Barely Blush. And loving these magnetic pads. Tell me if you have the magnetic pads, how much that you love them. Like even when you get close, you can just get close, and then it's just going to kind of take over and go together that way. And even if you like it laying side by side so you don't lose your lid, it'll stay attached. You can also just slide it underneath as well. If you want to save some space on your work area. Because for doing classes too, I was like, where am I going to put these lids? Our other older pads just self-store as it opens up. And so now I had a new thing to think about. All right, so I'm going to, from Sending Salutations, use my favorite sentiment from there, to a marvelous person on their birthday. And then I'm just going to punch that out with my 1 3/4 inch circle punch. And at first when I did this, I thought, oh, it kind of looks a little orangey for my soft pink card. But as it dries, it gets a little bit lighter, and I feel like it just blends in a lot better too. So now let's go ahead and get some dimensionals on there as well. So I'm just going to put a couple of those on there too. And then that's kind of ready to go. And now this is where I kind of cover up that spot there. That's popped up. And now I'll know exactly kind of where I want to tuck this piece in as well. Actually, I probably shouldn't have adhered this. I think I did my pink first. Sometimes by the time I design my card and then do my video, a lot of time can kind of transpire. I'm going to see if I can pull this down a little bit. Shouldn't be that hard, you guys. I just made the mistake of adding this flower. I'm going to see if I can pull it off without tearing my thing here too. I think just taking it completely off might be the best way. Okay, that's the joy of live videos, you guys. All right, so now I want this because I want my flower to go underneath there. Okay, not the worst, not the worst. Okay, so got that. I'm going to tuck that there. And then those couple of glue dots are holding that down, but I also like that it's kind of loose. So that's a good thing because I like the natural look of that too. I'm going to put that dimensional back on, and now this is ready to go there. But I am, I think, going to tuck just one because like anything, you sometimes don't know how loose or where the looseness is going to play out until you get it on your card. And I just don't want that to get snagged on an envelope as it's coming out and such. And then the last thing is, so you can see I've got kind of these tail ends of these embellishment pieces of the dies hanging out there. So a great way to cover that up, but still leaving the card more full by not having them connected, is just taking my ribbon here. And this is the Barely Blush bordered ribbon. You can get all of the new in colors in this type of ribbon. I love this ribbon. It's that nice size, like the 3/8 inch, I think. Easy to tie and work with. So all I do is just make a knot there and take my ribbon cutting scissor and just kind of cut a little V slot there like so. Grab my glue dots, put one on there, and then just kind of like bridge the gap like so, and that just kind of then covers that up and makes even the card's softness a little bit softer by adding that soft ribbon to that. And then there's a lot going on in the card, and sometimes this is the point where I say, do I really want an embellishment? There's a little bit of a corner sticking out there, but because like a lot of that gingham, it's so soft and it doesn't show up too much, I kind of wanted to leave that. But this is where I love these, the 2026 through 2028 in color dots. So you'll see all of the in colors represented there, and then a big and a small of these little dots. So I'm just going to kind of put a large one and then a small one, and then I'm just going to follow through with another little small one up there. And so already you can kind of see that that crisp cantaloupe that maybe looked a little too bright orange has already taken on a little lighter shade too. So that kind of completes the front of the card. Like I said, a lot going on, but I loved how soft it was. And a card like this could be used for birthday, wedding, you know, any kind of occasion where you want maybe a little bit more special occasion because of it, and especially with like the gold foil and the extra shimmery vellum too. And then for the inside, from the Petals of Beauty, which these dies are from, there also is some stamps that coordinate. They're on the last chance list as well. So I just kind of took out 3 of the small ones that are connected. I'm just going to stamp right on the inside there. And then from that Frames and Flourishes Happiest Birthday Wishes, it's kind of a fun little way that they put this with the happiest and then the birthday wishes stacked on there. Once again, maybe it might look a little orange to start with, but let's see if my sample has that in there already. You can see it's already a little bit lighter on that one too. And or you could, for the inside, get out the Barely Blush if you wanted to, if you really wanted to carry that through. But for classes, I did not want to design something that was so close in color where people would get the 2 inks messed up either, and have my inks, both of them, turn a different color during the class. And so thanks, Renee. There was one more thing I was going to say too. Oh, and this is my tip too. Sometimes it's stressful because this is the card base, and you've seen where normally I will use a 4 by 5 1/4 insert to do my stamping, and that way when I put that in my card, I have two sides, or you just know, like, if all else fails, you just grab another one. But since this is the card base that all the pretties are on, then you kind of get a little nervous, like, what if I mess up now on the inside and that's my last step? Well, never fear. You can just do that same thing on this piece and then just put it over top like so, and that can be your new insert. The only thing is, like for the flowers and the greeting, just make sure you don't stamp things too close to the edge, or you can't easily cover it up with that too. So hopefully that's a good tip. I always like to pass that along because I know I don't stamp perfectly all the time, and I want people at my classes to feel comfortable to know that there's a way to correct mistakes as well. So hopefully you enjoyed the card. I thought it'd be almost fun, but I didn't get the time to take all the different pieces from that gingham, all the new ink colors, and replicate this card and do it in all 5 of the colors, or maybe even like swap out hydrangea hue, do that with silver embellishments instead of gold and such, because I think they would all look so very pretty, all look a little different, and that would be fun to compare. But that was in my dream, and this is my reality, and I didn't get it done. So all right, so hopefully I'll be back again tomorrow with some more inspiration for you guys. Until then, take care. Bye-bye.